Welcome to NCAA Baseball Super Regionals presented by Capital One. From Jim Patterson Stadium here in Louisville, Kentucky, UC Santa Barbara gets ready to face the #2 national seed Louisville Cardinals here in Game 1 of this best-of-3 series. The winner advances to Omaha with a spot in this year's College World Series. And the winner will take on the winner of the game that follows us, South Carolina, Oklahoma State. They're getting ready for Game 1 at 3 o'clock Eastern Time. And with that, we say hello and welcome. He is Mike Rooney. I am Mike Morgan. Thank you so much for letting us be a part of your Saturday afternoon. We're coming to you from the birthplace of one Muhammad Ali. And with that, we're reminded style makes fights. And Mike, we've got two very contrasting styles today.
Mike, you're spot on. Louisville might be the most talented team in the country, certainly the most athletic. UCSB cannot compete with them athletically, but this is a team with a very high baseball IQ.
The Louisville Cardinals have been one of the more consistent teams in college baseball, but they were stunned last year, trying to make their third consecutive College World Series. A controversial home run call to walk off for Cal State Fullerton, another Big West school, and Louisville trying to avoid that same fate this year.
And Louisville had a chance to go to Omaha for the third straight year last year. They don't get it done. Fullerton, a team with Thomas Eshelman. Santa Barbara does not have Eshelman, but you're going to see a team that hits .262 but can still offense. They're in the top 10 in the country in hit by pitch. They play outstanding defense, and they can really, really pitch.
Sometimes it's hard to separate these Louisville teams. They've been so good under Coach McDonald. 9 of 10 regionals, 4 consecutive supers, 3 World Series. But this might be the most talented team on paper they've ever had.
Well, and Mike, the professional ranks have confirmed that. You've got 7 players that will play today for Louisville that were taken in the first 115 picks. 3 of them in the first round. Corey Ray, Zach Birdie, Will Smith, the catcher. They are athletic and talented and very strong up the middle.
It is Game 1, best 2 of 3. The winner gets to punch their ticket to the College World Series in Omaha. Gauchos and Cardinals coming your way. The procession taking Muhammad Ali's body through the streets of the city to allow citizens to pay their final respects yesterday. It traveled past or near landmarks from Ali's life in Louisville, the Muhammad Ali Center, Muhammad Ali Boulevard, and Ali's childhood neighborhood. It was packed in the house, pallbearers including Will Smith and a family friend and one Lennox Lewis, President Bill Clinton delivering one of the eulogies. It has been one of the epicenters, really, of the world here the last couple of days, considering all that's been going on around the city of Louisville, Kentucky. Muhammad Ali, born Cassius Clay, a 3-time heavyweight champion, inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame back in 1990, and someone who was closely affiliated to this Louisville program. His son actually played college baseball with the Cardinals. Speaking of the Cardinals, they are the #2 national seed. They come in red hot. They absolutely breezed through their regional a week ago, playing host to UC Santa Barbara. The Gauchos for the Big West Conference. It'll be Brendan McKay, a first-team All-ACC performer on the bump, delivers the first pitch, a swinging strike to Andrew Kalika, the starting center fielder. Fastball off the plate outside. McKay, who will deal 89 to 94 on that fastball, a sophomore from Darlington, Pennsylvania. And there is the breaking ball, and he has a good one, a big league curveball for McKay. Kalika has been a spark plug for this team, and while he's been known for his defense, he led the Cape Cod League in hitting this past summer. Cuts and misses. 1 up, 1 down quickly for Brendan McKay. Mike Rooney, what more do we know about what Brendan McKay will throw today?
Well, Mike, this is a kid that I think will pitch in the big leagues for a long, long time. The fastball's up to 94, but it's great command. It's a big league curveball, and the poise beyond his years. He's a perfect matchup for a West Coast offense that tends to fluster pitchers.
Clay Fisher jumps at the first one he sees. The slick fielding shortstop, one of the best fielding shortstops in the country, and can hurt you at times with the bat as well. Actually hit his first home run of the year in the Nashville Regional. UC Santa Barbara coming out of the Nashville Regional going 3-0. They did not face the Vanderbilt Commodores in that regional. Fisher hitting .286 on the season, a homer and 23 runs batted in. And that one backs him off the plate inside. This UC Santa Barbara team, the offense is an interesting one in that they finished 8th in their own league in batting average, 8 out of 9. But they led the league in runs scored. So what does that tell you, Mike Rooney? That tells you that they know how to manufacture runs.
Well, they know how to offense, if you can use it as a verb. I mean, not top 10 in the country in hit by pitch. You'll see every version of small ball. They are really good at it.
That ball is laced down the left field line. That is a fair ball. It'll rattle around in the corner, and Fisher will coast into second with a one-out double.
Clay Fisher, Mike, is a guy that was really just a defender as a freshman, and now as a sophomore has really stepped up the offense, added a leg kick, and again, Santa Barbara will not be intimidated by Louisville here. This West Coast, this offense is just, it's designed to face aces.
Three-hole hitter is Devon Bradford, the starting left fielder, a switch hitter who has come a long way in the last couple of years. I say he's come a long way because he barely made the team a year ago. They tried him as a pitcher. That didn't work. They gave him almost like a tryout in the fall to prove that he could be a hitter, and all of a sudden he was crushing pitches left and right. And I said, okay, you made the team. Started off as a platoon guy. There's the pickoff throw, and Louisville does it well. And since then, Bradford has become one of the team's top hitters.
A real big addition for Santa Barbara because they don't have a traditional three-hole hitter. They need someone to step in there, and Bradford's an excellent athlete. It gives them another weapon defensively. He's a really good defender on the corner.
McKay with that wicked breaking ball, skied in the left center off the bat of Bradford. And there is Taylor. Runner tags on the play. The throw will not be in time. And so the potential first run of the game is 90 feet away for the Gauchos.
Certainly, Mike, the Gauchos not overwhelmed by McKay early.
And you see the lineup. Again, they are not going to overwhelm you with gaudy offensive statistics. But what you won't see with those batting averages, and what you won't see with just 30 team home runs on the year, is the fact that they led their league in runs scored, and they hit 5 home runs in the regional. This guy hit 3 of them. Austin Bush, who is the very definition of a slugger. He plays the part, he looks the part at 6'6", 265 pounds, out of Turlock, California, just a sophomore. Home run cut, and strike 2 to the starting first baseman, who not only hit the 3 home runs in the regional, also had a walk-off against the Washington Huskies.
He's an important piece, Mike. Now, tough matchups for Bush. He's going to face a lefty here in McKay. That's a big challenge, left on left.
0-2 off the plate outside. This is the walk-off in the bottom of the 14th to defeat the Huskies, and it was a no-doubter.
Talk about having a moment, having a regional, Mike. Bush really carried Santa Barbara in so many ways in Nashville.
Got him to chase one outside. The second strikeout for McKay, and the side is retired. 1 left on. We go to the bottom of the first. No score from Louisville.
The NCAA Baseball Super Regionals is presented by the Quicksilver Card from Capital One. Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back every purchase every day. And in part by Head & Shoulders. Live flake-free for life.
We welcome you back to a sold-out standing room only crowd here at Jim Patterson Stadium on the campus of the University of Louisville. No score Bottom of the first coming up, and our first chance to see this Cardinals lineup led by that man, a recent first-round draft pick, Corey Ray, a junior out of Chicago, Illinois, who just had his name called less than 48 hours ago.
With the 5th selection in the 2016 MLB draft, the Milwaukee Brewers select Corey.
First young man out of the south side of Chicago to be drafted in the first round since 1989. He looks the part, he plays the part, and when you sit down and talk to him, as we had a chance to, Runes, sounds like we're talking to a grizzled veteran or a future coach.
The Milwaukee Brewers are going to absolutely love this kid. High-end talent and even better person.
Righty on lefty. Ray fouls the first pitch away. Corey Ray did a little bit of everything this season for the Cardinals. Hits well at .319, hits for power with 15 bombs and 60 runs batted in. High chop to second with his speed. It could be close. Here comes the throw. Bang, bang play, and they got him. The speedy Ray is retired for the first out of the home first. This Louisville Cardinals team, it's hard to find a weakness. They led the ACC in hitting in a multitude of categories. They've got power, they've got speed. Will Smith, the catcher, digging in now another first-round draft pick to bury in the 6-hole. Very dangerous hitter, the starting third baseman. They also finished with 100 stolen bases on the year. That's been a staple of a Dan McDonald team.
There are no breaks in this lineup. It's as deep as anybody's, and they can beat you so many different ways. This is interesting. Mike Bieber already working quick, peppering the strike zone. 3 pitches for a strike. This is exactly what you expected from Bieber.
That's a line shot in the right center field, a base hit. Will Smith, the all-conference catcher, is aboard. Shane Bieber is the pitcher for the Gauchos, and he too had his name called rather early in the draft. A 4th rounder, pick number 122 for the Cleveland Indians. He tied a school record with 11 victories on the year. Mike Rooney, he's got some serious stuff.
Yeah, and the fastball is going to be plenty good, upper 80s, low 90s, but he's going to pound the bottom of the strike zone. Maybe the best strike thrower in the country. This kid's got command that you just don't see every day.
And now Nick Solak, the second baseman, who is a 2nd-round draft pick. Will Smith, not your prototypical catcher. He does have speed, 9 of 10 this year. And stolen bases. He's got a measurable lead now. Pitch from Bieber is off the plate outside. The thing about Shane Bieber, 11-3 at .286, you are looking at one of the best control pitchers in the country. He will walk a little bit more than 1 batter every 9 innings. That's one of the top ratios in all of college baseball.
That's what's so fun this time of year. I mean, Shane Bieber, you're talking about 35 walks in his career. Right. Several of those were intentional walks. And now he's got Will Smith, who, you know, is a 1st-round pick as a catcher at first base. And you're facing Nick Solak. For me, Mike, if I had one at bat to win a national title in this tournament, Nick Solak is the guy that I want at the dish. This kid is, you get a Dustin Pedroia comp on him, maybe a little bit bigger than Pedroia, but just a gamer.
A young man who was not highly recruited out of high school. He worked himself into becoming one of the top players in the country in a 2nd-round draft pick. You see what he did in the Louisville Regional, 5 for 12. Scored 3 runs, a double, and 2 walks for the second baseman. All ACC 2nd team. Breaking ball high. That's one of the great things for those of you new to watching a college baseball super regional. None of these teams get here on accident. Some might have some good fortune, but so many of the players you'll see through the course of these next few days, you will one day watch in Major League Baseball. They are literally littered all over the field on all these rosters. Close pitch to take, but out of the zone. A rare 3-ball count for Shane Bieber.
That pitch right there is going to be a key one to watch in this game. Does Bieber get this call? That's down and away painted. Grady Smith calls it a ball to home plate umpire. Bieber will try to move the strike zone to include that pitch.
Off the plate, and there is a rare walk. Bieber with a base on balls. It's only the 16th walk all season and 120 innings of work. And there's no let-up in the lineup for Louisville. Lineup depth is something they certainly can show off, and this is a part of it. Brendan McKay, one of the few pitchers who actually hit for himself and clean up for this Cardinal lineup. Tremendous hitter at .336 on the year.
Early in the game, you see this. This is the pitch Bieber wants. That's down at the bottom, the very bottom of the strike zone. Dempsey Grover does a nice job framing that up. Grady Smith is establishing a strike zone, but that Bieber is going to wear that spot out and see if he can't get that to be a strike.
Next, first to third.
Bieber was terrific in his one start in the Nashville Regional against the Washington Huskies. Allowed just 1 run in 7 1/3. A little bit of traffic on the diamond here, though, in the early going. That ball hit hard into right field, and a diving catch is made by the right fielder, McAdoo. That is a huge gamble and a huge play by the right fielder, McAdoo.
McAdoo, just a freshman, and sometimes it's good to have a freshman out there because they don't know any better. Very aggressive play. He's an excellent athlete. And really, he's out there because it's a left-hander on the mound for Louisville. And McKay, great play. And Santa Barbara, that's an exception, but they will play outstanding defense this entire series. It's a really good defensive club.
Well, if that ball gets underneath McAdoo's glove, it might roll all the way to the wall. Could have plated a pair of runs for the Cardinals as Bieber goes strike 1 to the Cardinals shortstop, Devin Hairston. We've got 2 tremendous fielding shortstops, and Hairston does not have to apologize for his prowess at the plate either, hitting .360 on the year. Trying to hit the outside corner, but a little bit off target.
This is so fun, Mike. Shane Bieber and Grady Smith establishing a relationship. This is a pitch Bieber's trying to say, hey, Grady Smith, what do you got for me? You willing to go 4 inches away? Grady Smith says no. You love this. It's almost an unspoken dialogue between pitcher and umpire right now.
Bieber just dotting wherever he wants to go with the baseball. Ground ball at the middle. Fisher will step on the bag for out number 3. Side retired. We head to the second. No score.
Brendan Fitzgerald back in studio. This is a look at the other games coming up today. 8 games in all on the slate. Texas Tech, Mississippi State, Texas A&M. All game 2s and all of those national seeds face elimination later today. Back to Mike and Mike in Louisville.
He's a good defensive team.
Look forward to some great games coming up, including the one following ours with South Carolina taking on Oklahoma State. Little SEC Big 12 matchup, and then later on tonight it'll be Florida and Florida State. Interesting and busy night of games last night. First pitch, tough hop, beautiful play by Solak at second to Rob Muno.
Solak just does a little bit of everything for Louisville. He's really known more for offense than for defense. Huge play. Great offensive approaches early, Mike, but even better defense.
We expect to see some outstanding defense with these 2 teams throughout this Super Regional. There are no holes out there in the field really for either their squad. This is Dempsey Grover, the starting catcher. A real consistent performer for them, just a sophomore. You know, this UC Santa Barbara team, this was kind of supposed to be a rebuilding year. They had 10 guys drafted off last year's team. But all of a sudden, they started off red hot, had a little bit of a cool spot, as you see Andrew Checketts, their head coach, in his 5th year. and then lit it up in Nashville to come out to their first super regional in school history. And that guy right there, remember the name, because he's becoming one of the hot young coaching names in college baseball.
No question about it, Mike, and he has done everything here ahead of schedule.
Grover fouls it away. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count. The Gauchos backstop.
You think about it, Mike, in his second year, he took UCSB to the Corvallis Regional. Last year, a school record 10 players drafted, including the #4 overall pick, Dylan Tate. They host a regional. Now his 3rd regional in 5 years and a super.
No, says the first base umpire, Danny Everett. The count evens up 2 balls and 2 strikes. Checkett's actually started his college career as a pitcher at the University of Florida. He followed Andy Lopez. He thought he was going to go to Pepperdine when Lopez was there. Lopez takes the Florida job, and he follows him. And then got homesick as Grover goes down on strikes. That's 3 early punch-outs for Brendan McKay.
This curveball, Mike, this is a big league pitch, and you see this is the sharper one for a strikeout. The one that he throws early in the count for a strike is not quite the same velocity. This kid is the real deal.
And at home, he's been unbeatable. 15-0 with a microscopic 1.26 earned run average. 2 gone for Plantier. By the way, the Cardinals all season long only lost 1 game at this venue. They were 36-1. The 1 loss to the Virginia Cavaliers. Plantier socks 1 foul into the seats. If the name sounds familiar, Plantier, yes, he is related to the former Major League slugger Phil Plantier. It's Phil's nephew. Doesn't have that deep crouch like Phil did. Chase pitch on 0-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes the count on the designated hitter.
McKay probably come right back to that breaking ball here.
Paint job right on the inside corner. Plantier can't get the bat off the shoulder. Already 4 strikeouts for Brendan McKay. Welcome back to the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals, presented by Capital One. Alongside Mike Rooney, I am Mike Morgan. Great to be with you here at Jim Patterson Stadium. It's become one of the better venues in college baseball. Dan McDonnell has really taken a moribund program and turned them into one of the elites. Shane Bieber has been an elite pitcher in his 3 years for the Gauchos, in what now equates to the most important start of his career, and got some great news yesterday while we were at the Gauchos practice.
There is no substitute for strike throwing, Mike, and you look at this, so cool. The whole team gets to celebrate the draft together. Just all of these pictures, you can see how much these teammates care about each other, and a big moment. He's going to get a chance to play professional baseball.
11-3 at 2.86. He's got a chance to be the school's first ever 12-game winner. We're talking about a university that's produced a lot of good college arms, including Barry Zito actually pitched for the Gauchos at one point. Cardinals, though, very difficult on right-handers. That line of 32-9 versus righties this year. It'll be Taberi, Rosenbaum, and Ellis. 6, 7, and 8 due up in the Louisville attack. Taberi, a 3rd-team All-ACC third baseman, one of 3 lefties in the lineup that Bieber will work against today.
You can see, Mike, that Santa Barbara's strategy is let's be there late. Usually Shane Bieber will go first time through the order and it's all fastballs. He has already thrown a large number of changeups and sliders. They're trying to put up zeros and be in the game in the 7th inning.
That ball is hammered high and deep to right field. It is out of here. 10th home run of the season for Tiberi, the 63rd of the year for the Cardinals.
Mike, there are no breaks in this lineup, and you see this is a breaking ball that hangs up there, and Tiberi just leans on it. This is a really good hitter that's deep in this lineup, and he knew it immediately.
That porch in right center goes 377 feet. It could have been about 390. It wouldn't have mattered on that bomb. The Cardinals 36-7 this year when they score first, and that's what they've done here in the home second. Danny Rosenbaum, the lone senior in the lineup, hits the first two foul and out of play. 0-2 on Rosenbaum, making his 148th career start.
That's a pitch right there, Mike, that Shane Bieber's going to need. And ironically, after the home run, and I think you'll see this, he's going to go back to fastball, but just he's really not getting anything off the plate. That is a ball, but usually Bieber's going to try and get that pitch.
Pounded into the turf here at Patterson Stadium for the first out of the inning. Let's take a listen to the home run and the crowd reaction after Tiberi parks one over the porch and right. An ocean of Cardinal red here on a sun-splashed Saturday afternoon from Louisville, Kentucky. The Cardinals trying to make Omaha for the 4th time in 5 years.
Be interesting to see for Santa Barbara. They don't play in front of crowds like this. There was a lot of red in that picture. It's very loud here and very hot, so it's an adjustment.
Drew Ellis, the 8-hole hitter. Little pop-up into shallow center. Kalika calls everybody off, and the sure-handed center fielder puts the squeeze on it for out number 2.
You remember, Mike, for Santa Barbara, they did not face the host Vanderbilt in that regional. So again, this is not a young team for Santa Barbara, but an inexperienced team because of the 10 draft picks from last year. So definitely this is something new for them.
And you wonder how they will come out now that they have to play from behind here early. There's so much pressure to win that first game. On average, the winner of game 1 of a super regional goes on to win the super and advance to Omaha 80% of the time. That is a strong number. The home team wins approximately 73% of the super regional. So you've got to do something special to win one on the road, extra special to win one on the road if you lose the first game.
And this is one of those elite environments, Mike. I mean, it's hard to believe Dan McDonald's just in his 10th year. Louisville never hosted before, and now this is one of the very toughest places to play. You just see an incredible environment.
Strike 2. Bieber still filling up the zone.
Just
not a young man you're going to rattle.
No, not at all. And you just see he is stubborn on that down and away spot. He's going to keep pitching there and say to Grady Smith, look, you can be here as long as you want today.
Taylor frozen for strike 3. Give Bieber credit. He responds after the bomb.
This is the depth of this lineup. Tiberi gets the breaking ball up. The crowd comes alive. Louisville with the 1-0 lead.
Few coaches have done a better job over the last 10 years with their respective programs, and that man, Dan McDonald, took the job at Louisville. They had never won a regional game. They'd only played in 2. It was basically a program that was lackluster in the sport of baseball. He's won 71% of the time. He's been to 3 World Series, 9 regionals in 10 years. He's leading the only program in college baseball to make it to 4 consecutive super regionals, this being the 4th. And you sit back and you talk to him, Runes, and you feel like you're talking to a field general. He's got a complete grip on this program.
this guy is a star in the coaching profession. We're watching a Hall of Famer, Mike, but in really the beginning to middle of his career. And it's, you think about it, Louisville had not been to a regional or one regional before he gets here. Now they've been to 3 Omahas. And the way I think about Louisville baseball, think about the best run company in America. That's what Louisville baseball is. They're buttoned down in every way, and he is the CEO.
McAdoo, the freshman, waves goodbye. 3 consecutive strikeouts and 5 in the game for Brendan McKay. This is what Louisville baseball was before. Again, just 1 regional, 0-2. They'd never won an NCAA tournament game in 89 years. And then in 10 years under Coach McDonald, they're now striving for their 4th College World Series. It's one of the best turnaround stories that college baseball has seen in a long time.
And, you know, they moved to the ACC 2 years ago, and I think a lot of people are like, okay, now we'll see. Let's see what they look like. They've just come in and you know, borderline dominated the ACC.
They really have. It's actually helped them in recruiting. It's always a good news, bad news. You say, well, the level of competition's going to be stiffer, and it has been, obviously. The ACC getting 10 teams this year in the NCAA tournament. But Louisville has not slowed down a bit, and they can now sell recruits, particularly in the Midwest, that you can play in a very good ACC conference. One to Ryan Clark, the 9-hole hitter and a lone senior in the Gauchos lineup out of Fresno, California. Brendan McKay right now is just dealing for Louisville, and you don't want him to catch fire. He has retired the last 6 batters he's faced, 3 of them via the strikeout. He's ahead here, 1-2, and that ball is muscled in the left center field for a base hit. Nice job of 2-strike hitting by the senior Ryan Clark. Home of the College World Series, ESPN, and of course home of all the super regionals. Best 2 out of 3 coming up after our game today. The Gamecocks try to get back to Omaha against Oklahoma State for the Big 12 Conference. Mississippi State stunned by Arizona in Game 1. Miami routing Boston College in Game 1, but a couple of SEC teams humbled a bit last night, Runes.
Well, these are the longest 3-game series of your life. I mean, you are 2 wins from Omaha. You can taste it, but Omaha never comes easy. Every team that's in the Super Regionals is capable. It's such a fun weekend.
Second time through the order now. It's the leadoff man, Kalika, who started off with a strikeout. This is a guy that don't let the 273 average fool you, because the real number on Kalika is a 451 on base percentage. He's been hit by a pitch 23 times. That's a school record, and he's walked 44 times.
It's, you know, hit by pitches are part of his offensive game plan. And what it does is it forces McKay to pitch away. And so if you're Kalika, you can be really good at using the other side of the field to collect hits.
Kalika was 6 for 13 in that Nashville regional. Just off the outside corner, and Grady Smith, the home plate umpire, has been consistent.
Grady Smith's doing a fantastic job, and this is challenging because you've got 2 surgeons out there. I mean, you've got 2 pitchers that have really tested Grady Smith on, hey, how far away will you go with this strike zone? He's done a great job. Super fun, Mike, to watch that game within the game, and it only happens when you've got 2 pitchers that are as skilled and capable as McKay and Bieber.
Topped up the middle on the short hop, nicely gloved by Solak, who offers to first for the 2nd out of the inning.
Nick Solak really understands the game. He knows Kalika is a good runner, so he doesn't get greedy for the double play. He really gets into the green area there of this turf infield. Very heads-up play because that's not a double play ball.
So a runner in scoring position, 2 away for the 2-hole hitter Clay Fisher, who has the double off of McKay back in the first inning. One of just 2 hits off the lefty.
We are getting these guys best today, Mike. It is McKay is sharp with 3 pitches. Bieber the same way. Runs will be at an absolute premium at this point.
You feel like they can just at any time put the ball exactly where they want it. 2-0.
And again, McKay's the perfect guy to face a West Coast team because there's a lot to deal with. The hit by pitch, hit and run, bunt for a hit, fake steal at second base. And McKay, I mean, you talk about a guy with a slow heartbeat. It is awesome. Nothing bothers him.
Is sliced down the right field line. This could be trouble. It is a fair ball, and a run will score. Ray has to play it off the hop. Sliding in the second is Fisher with his second double of the game, and the Gauchos have tied it up.
This is, you know, like a sandwich in the perfect spot. Corey Ray overruns it just a little bit, came a little bit far forward. For me, Mike, the corner outfield sometimes much more difficult to play than center field, where you can just be an athlete.
Yeah, he plays both positions. They have a speed demon in Taylor, who's so good in center that Corey Ray, who might become a major league center fielder, is actually playing right most of the time for the Cardinals. Big hit for Clay Fisher, and the Gauchos have responded here in the third. This is Bradford.
It's another part of this West Coast offense, Mike. They are opportunistic, but, you know, to the nth degree. Think about Brendan McKay. He's made one mistake in this inning. The pitch that was up to Clark, that really should be an out, and yet UCSB turns one pitch that was a mistake into a run.
Runner breaking for third. Here comes the throw. Not in time. Stole that one on the pitcher. Fisher was getting ignored and got a great jump.
And you might ask, why would you steal third with 2 outs? Really, it has as much to do with, let's see if we can affect Brendan McKay as anything. His good curveball, pass ball here maybe. And I'll tell you, Clay Fisher's playing at a very high level this year, going from a guy that wasn't offensive at all as a freshman to a real force this year.
14th stolen base of the year. But the Gauchos shortstop, Bradford, knocks one foul out of play. The count 1-2. You know, Mike Rooney, we hear the term so often in West Coast baseball. When people talk about that, I think sometimes there's a lot of different ways that can go. But if we have time after this pitch, I want to break that down a little bit with your help. Long looking for McKay.
You know, really, Mike, the West Coast offense, it's the complete hitter. It's not just sit back and swing and handle pitches. It's guys that can hit, that can situational hit, that can bunt, that can hit and run. Not just bunt for sack, bunt for a hit. It's stealing bases. You see, doing kind of different things to affect the pitcher. And you don't usually steal third with 2 outs, but these guys do.
2-2, popped up lazily into right center field. And it'll be Ray calling for it and putting it away. Side retired. However, the Gauchos are on the board. An RBI double by Clay Fisher. We are tied at 1.
Brendan Fitzgerald back in studio with an update on what's happening in Coral Gables. Mike King holding Miami to 2 hits through the first 2+ innings. It's still scoreless over on ESPNU. Mike and Mike, back to you.
Brendan, thank you so much. We've got a close one here as well. 1-1 game. Bottom of the third. Top of the order due up for the Cardinals. Corey Ray, the number 5 overall selection in the draft on Thursday night, hacking away at the first one and pops it up to Fisher. Now Will Smith with nobody on and 1 out. the starting catcher for the Cardinals, and a great time for him just a couple of days ago in the draft, first-round draft pick. It's a young man that really made tremendous progress. He was a shortstop and a pitcher when they got him. They didn't know where they were going to play him. He just wanted to play. So he said, okay, if that's going to give me the earliest playing time, strap on the gear. Let's make some noise behind home plate. And here he is now, a first-rounder. When you think about the depth of talent with catchers in the ACC this year, several of them going high in the draft, for this kid to go as highly as he did speaks volumes of the work that Will Smith has done.
And Mike, you hear the term draft helium, where a guy wasn't really a prospect and then comes up those draft boards fast. Nobody had more helium than Will Smith, and it's his athleticism that got it done.
Yeah, not many catchers can run well at all. He's 9 of 10 this year in stolen bases. I mean, he's a true athlete. Remember, Buster Posey was a shortstop at Florida State. There's been some comparisons there, but I know, Bruins, you believe he's actually a little more athletic than Posey is.
Well, you know, Buster Posey was a shortstop that went to catcher. Will Smith's a guy you could put in center field and feel very good about him. His athleticism is extreme.
Swing and a miss, goes down on one knee as Bieber busted him inside. Now, if you're watching any coverage of the draft, you saw a lot of Cardinals have their name called. Look at this. 7 of the top 115 players to go. That's a draft that includes all the best high school kids as well. 3 first-rounders, a second-rounder, 2 third-rounders, and Kyle Funkhauser, who was actually a first-rounder last year, came back for his senior campaign, dropped a little bit. He's actually their swing guy. We could see him today out of the bullpen. We could see him start tomorrow. We could see him start in a possible 3rd game Monday.
It's an embarrassment of riches. Meanwhile, you got a 4th rounder in Shane Bieber, who is absolutely painting right now, and this is not an easy lineup to deal with.
Letter high strike. Solak and about 4,500 Louisville fans disagree.
So interesting, Mike. Many pitchers will try to go fastball first time through the order and then go to their break and stuff. Bieber has done the exact opposite. It's been almost all fastball second time through the order.
1-2 to Solak, who walked back in the 1st inning. Bieber's really been a model of consistency ever since he got on campus. His career earned run average is .278. It's not like he just got hot in this his junior year. Just off that outside corner. He keeps flirting with it, trying to convince Grady Smith to give him this pitch.
You know, and Grady Smith is going to be absolutely gassed after this game, because these two guys are testing him over and over again. Just a great pitch on purpose, right on the fringes.
What does he come with? 2-2. How about a fastball? Spoiled foul by Solak.
This, Mike, for me is like watching a big league at bat. I mean, Nick Solak, the Yankees took him in the 2nd round, ironically, because they're probably sick of facing Pedroia over and over again. A guy that maybe doesn't have all the tools, but just a great player, versus a guy like Bieber that just paints his fastball.
Fouled away by Solak out of Woodbridge, Illinois, and they have been able to be very successful recruiting in the Midwest. Their assistant coach Eric Snyder, who used to be with Illinois, now an assistant and their top recruiter. And a great staff does Dan McDonald. He's quick to share the credit with Snyder and Roger Williams, the pitching coach.
I'll tell you, Bieber had that set up for the fastball in, and it should have been an out, except for Nick Solak's hitting. I mean, he barely gets that ball. It's in his jersey. The hand-eye coordination of Nick Solak versus the fastball command of Shane Bieber, you just don't get matchups like this.
Another 2-2 pitch downstairs for ball 3.
And you see Bieber's maybe a little shaken there. He was thinking, I just painted my fastball in. This inning should be over. And then he comes back, and that's the first time today really we've seen Bieber just absolutely miss a spot badly.
Solak has battled his way to a 3-ball, 2-strike count here and bounces one through the hole. What an at-bat by Nick Solak. Shane Bieber did everything right But Solak was just a little bit better on the 9th pitch, a single to left.
You just nailed it, Mike. Bieber was so good in this at-bat, and Solak is so mentally tough and so good in his at-bats, the way he runs these at-bats, and he just fights and fights until finally he gets a 3-2 pitch that's on the plate. That is what we call big on big. That is an awesome at-bat right there.
Each team with 3 hits now.
On the way.
Solak 9 of 12 this year in stolen bases. Louisville, one of the more aggressive teams in college baseball year after year on the base pass. 100 stolen bases this season.
Everything they do, Mike's aggressive, but I don't think you steal here. You want McKay to get a hit or make the last out. That way Hairston can lead off the next inning.
Tough pitch, which takes a bite out of the inside corner. What do you do with that one if you're Brendan McKay?
I mean, that's a slider in. It's just usually you get that in the middle. That is right on the black inside. That's a perfectly executed pitch. You take that and tip your hat is what you do.
That's exactly what he did. Now down to the count. No balls, 2 strikes. Pitcher to pitcher. This ball is rocketed deep left field. Bradford backing and now slowing up on the lip of the track for out number 3. A noisy out number 3. Bieber picking up steam. We're still tied at 1. One of the more unsung conferences in college baseball has been the Big West. Long Beach State made it to Omaha in 1998. The Dirtbags. Cal State Fullerton, they're a regular in Omaha. That was in 2004, their national title. They've won multiple national titles in different decades. Most recently, 2014, how about UC Irvine? They made it as well. The Anteaters, multiple trips to the College World Series. And mid-majors in the CWS have really picked up in the last 10 years. Stony Brook, Kent State from the MAC, Southern Miss Conference USA, and Fresno State now in the Big West as this ball is crushed in the center field. This has got home run written all over it. Austin Busch does it again. His 4th home run of the postseason. Busch was the MVP of the National Regional with 3 homers. He just hit his 4th of the postseason, and the Gauchos have the lead for the first time today.
Mike, there are hitters that get hot, but Austin Busch is on a different planet. Remember, he's facing Brendan McKay, who really worked him over in the first at bat. Now, McKay elevates this pitch, and holy, I mean, Busch has got some kind of power. Are you kidding me? That's the center field now.
I think a lot of pitchers have started a 2-word phrase like you just did. The second word we can't repeat. But when Busch is up there, he will incite profanity from opposing pitchers. And now an infield single for J.J. Muno.
McKay doesn't get an out, but look at the athleticism for McKay. I mean, you know how many pitchers can do that? That's what you're looking at him, Brendan McKay. I mean, that is, you don't get the out, but what an athlete.
Momentum so key in these games, Runes, and right now it's all on the side of the Gauchos.
And we thought Austin Busch would be neutralized by the left-handed pitching of Louisville, but when you're this hot, it doesn't matter. You could throw ambidextrous, and Austin Busch is just fine.
1 on, nobody out for Grover, the starting catcher.
Louisville really counts on McKay getting deep into this game, and here you're in the 4th, you're at 49 pitches, but I think it's more importantly the stress of the pitches, and the key is McKay's been up in the zone at times. Santa Barbara has capitalized.
Grover showing bunt, another big part of West Coast baseball, not just the Big West Conference. You see schools in the Pac-12 do this all the time. They are more than happy to go station to station on you. Grover unable to connect on that one. 1 ball, 1 strike to the sophomore out of Modesto, California.
Hard to hit and run against McKay because he's a left-handed pitcher. Not a great move, but again, that puts a lot of pressure on the base runner. But Santa Barbara is really more of that kind of action, hit and run, bunt for a hit, but they will sack bunt at times.
Come on, big man. Get a double baby! Get a double play.
Third baseman comes crashing in. Here's the bunt toward the pitcher. And the only play will be to first, and that throw almost got away from McKay. Sacrifice is true this week on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball. It's a first ever doubleheader from the seats with Dave Fleming, Dallas Braden, and Eduardo Perez broadcasting the Cards-Pirates game from atop the Clemente Wall at PNC Park starting at 5 Eastern Time. Then at 8:30, Dan Schulman, Booney, and Jess call the Dodgers-Giants game from above the right field wall at AT&T Park. Both games streaming live on Watch ESPN. Mike Morgan, Mike Rooney, we are at the customary press box calling this game behind home plate. It's the Gauchos on top of the #2 national seed Louisville Cardinals 2-1. And threatening here with Plantier at the dish. And a breaking ball strike.
This West Coast offense, Mike, it's just non-traditional. You'll get a sack bunt with your 3-hole hitter. You'll get steal of third with 2 outs. It's anything at any time. And then as Austin Bush and JJ Munoz showed us, you get first pitch swinging, very aggressive, which kind of is counterintuitive to the other stuff.
Another breaking ball pulled just inside the chalk. This will play to run. Plantier will dig for second. He'll be there easily. And the Gauchos, trailing 1-0, now have a 3-1 lead.
And you see it's just a breaking ball that's elevated. It doesn't get down in the zone like he wanted it. Plantier right down the line with that. And we talked about this UCSB offense is beyond opportunistic. They've had very few opportunities, but every one they've had, they have capitalized on.
And that's the great point, Mike, is that you can't sit here and say that Brendan McKay is off his game. I mean, he's pitching well, but the Gauchos have just been a little bit better here, particularly in the 4th inning.
McKay has elevated about 5 pitches, and all of them have turned into damage for UCSB. They just have not missed anything.
McKay came out of the gates here strong. He struck out 5 through the first 2 1/3, but has been humbled here. A 2 spot in the 4th for the Gauchos, who again, second lowest batting average in the Big West Conference, #1 in runs scored. They are opportunistic. They know how to bunch hits together and base runners together for this type of inning.
It's amazing, Mike. Brendan McKay, shows you another good fastball there. To your point, this is a team hitting 262, and you say they're going to get 3 runs off of Brendan McKay in the first 4 innings. You'd say Vegas won't even take that. Right. They won't take your money on that. But you're right. It's just this offense, when it gets going, it's all momentum.
McAdoo down to the count 0-2 and watches that one outside. Michael McAdoo, the starting right fielder, freshman in the 8-hole. The entire roster of UC Santa Barbara from the state of California, every single player. Strike 3 call. That's a half dozen now for McKay.
The breaking ball is up at times, but the fastball command for McKay has been beautiful. In and out, that's perfectly located down in the zone. Again, for me, Mike, this kid's going to pitch for a long, long time. This is just a special pitcher with a special makeup to do it.
Go, Brandon!
Was not draft eligible because he's a sophomore, but next year could be yet another high draft pick out of this Louisville program.
It's a couple underclassmen, Mike. I was hoping my Phillies would take Seth Beer or Brendan McKay and go a little Red Auerbach and just hold the pick for a year. I'm pretty sure that's illegal, but we'll should have tried it.
You're going Larry Bird Red Auerbach style right there. 9-hole hitter Ryan Clark stroked a single to left in his first at bat. 3-6-0 for the Gauchos. 1-3-0 for the Cardinals. Louisville was stunned last year by another Big West opponent, Cal State Fullerton, trying to avoid the same plague this year against the Gauchos in their first Super Regional. Another hard hit ball to third. Tiberi rifles across in time for the third out of the inning. But 6 come to the plate. 2 score, including a bomb by Austin Bush.
Austin Bush, there's no one else like him in the UCSB lineup. He is beyond hot. UCSB takes the 3-1 lead.
Needless to say, it's been a very emotional time here in the city of Louisville, Kentucky, having nothing to do with the sport of baseball and really nothing to do specifically with boxing, more about the man, Muhammad Ali, who recently passed away. His birthplace, of course, here in Louisville, Kentucky. And a number of people honoring and paying their respects to the former champion, including the Louisville baseball team with the Ali patch on the caps and jerseys. Muhammad Ali, whose son actually played for the Louisville program for 4 years and was no stranger to attending Louisville sporting events during his time in this city. And the memory of Muhammad Ali still reigning supreme around these parts and really worldwide. Right now, Louisville trying to become the greatest team of this Super Regional, trailing at 3-1 in the bottom of the 4th inning. Hairston, Tiberi, and Rosenbaum going up against a very red-hot Shane Bieber. This is the first time, incidentally, the Cardinals have trailed in this postseason. They led throughout the regional, and Hairston trying to get them back on track. A hard hit single to right.
And I think, Mike, what Hairston did right there is exactly what you've got to do if you're Louisville. He picked one side of the plate, sat on something away, used the other side of the field. Make Bieber beat you in. You cannot chase him all over the strike zone. He's too good, and the command is off the charts.
And now the one guy who's touched up Bieber, Blake Tiberi, with that solo blast back in the 2nd inning. He represents the tying run here in the home 4th. And Bieber goes strike 1 on him.
Bieber's so good at holding down the running game. I mean, he's really proficient in every little thing you could do in pitching. But this is where Louisville can get to you. They start to kind of double team you offensively. You get a power hitter at the plate and a base stealing threat at first.
One ball, 1 strike on Tiberi. Not bad to have a guy like this in your 6th hole.
You're right, Mike.
ACC 13.
It's a 3-hole hitter hitting 6th. Right. I mean, that's really what it is.
Hairston drawing some attention over there at first.
And Bieber, he's been outstanding, but Louisville has stressed him over the 52 pitches. This has not been a walk in the park, and it never is against this ultra-aggressive Louisville lineup.
For more coverage of the Division I baseball tournament and interactive brackets, go to ncaa.com. With former college player and coach Mike Rooney, I am Mike Morgan. Glad to be a part of your Saturday afternoon, starting off a triple header of Super Regional coverage here on ESPN2. Gamecock after us, and then Gators and Seminoles. This was Blake Tiberi in the 2nd inning in his first at bat.
The home runs we've seen today, Mike, they were not fence scrapers. These balls have been driven way out of here.
Hammered to right, but foul. Bieber is a guy, the last name obviously When you hear Bieber.
Unfortunate? Is that the word you were looking for?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, that's commentary, my bad.
I'm not a musical analyst, but obviously that name rings true for a lot of folks out there that are a fan of the pop musician Justin Bieber. 1-2 pitch, didn't mean to, bounces one to third. There's one, the relay, yes, double play. What a job, turned in by the Gauchos infield.
That's the other part, Mike, that gets missed. This is not a double play that Santa Barbara turns into a double play. That is unbelievable for Clark. He had to wait and allow Muno to get there. Bieber's fired up because he knows that you kind of thieved 2 outs right there. That's not a double play ball, but you found a way.
To second. And Bieber's going to wind up facing the minimum in the 4th. When we come back, we will speak to the head coach of the Cardinals, Dan McDonald. 3-1, Gauchos in the lead. Welcome back to the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals, presented by Capital One, as we are joined by Dan McDonald, head coach of Louisville. And Coach, Brendan McKay started off guns a-blazing, a flurry of strikeouts. What has been the difference since that point?
I think you got a ball up to their best power hitter, and then they had a couple balls fall. You got to give them credit. I mean, they're swinging, they're competing, they're playing hard.
Hey, Dan, Bieber's been outstanding, but you've had some really good at-bats, thinking of Smith and Solak and Harrison. What do you need from your hitters? What's the approach against him?
Just compete. You got to have quality at-bats. He's not going to give you anything. You got to earn it. You know, Blake had a great at-bat, and unfortunately he had a check swing there, and it didn't turn into a double play. But it's like my pals always say, man, you got to expect something wonderful to happen. And with this group, I'm always thinking something wonderful is going to happen.
Dan, we really appreciate the time. Thank you so much.
You got it. Thanks, guys.
Head coach Dan McDonald in his 10th year with the Louisville program, who has led the Cardinals to 3 World Series as a coach and played in a World Series in 1990 as a second baseman for the Citadel. One of the best stories in the history of postseason college baseball. One of the more unexpected tickets that was punched. And he says he still uses that experience to his advantage today as a head coach. Kalika, Fisher, and Gradford, the top of the order, due up for the Gauchos. You see the line of McKay. He has struck out 6, but it's been a mixed bag as he's given up 6 hits. A couple of them have been really hard hit. That was a hard hit foul ball by Kalika, who was just selected by the Cleveland Indians in the 11th round of the draft. He opened a lot of eyes when he led the Cape Cod League in hitting last summer. Speed, great center fielder, and coming around with the bat. Strokes this one to left. Ellis angling back, makes the grab. 1 gone. When we talked about that laundry list of Louisville Cardinal players that went high in the draft, the list not as long for the Gauchos, but the starting pitcher today, Shane Bieber, a 4th rounder, and Andrew Kalika, an 11th rounder just moments ago. Both players taken by the Cubs. There's a scout doing extra work in Santa Barbara for the Cubbies. And if you're a scout, that's not a bad place to do it. There's worse places to spend your spare time than Santa Barbara, California.
And again, Mike, don't let that short draft list fool you. Santa Barbara's got a ton of sophomores that are playing big roles here. And, you know, their program's built around skill, and the draft is more about talent and upside, and skill's important. But again, Andrew Checketts, the 2 coaches we have in the Super Regional, Mike, are as good as it gets. These are 2 of the very best in the college baseball business.
McKay looking for a much-needed 1-2-3 inning. He hasn't had one since the 2nd. He's up to 67 pitches here in the 5th. Devon Gradford 0 for 2 at the plate. Nasty breaking ball.
Well, and McKay's poise and composure is really important here, because if you're Louisville, remember there's demons on this field from last year in that Fullerton Super Regional, and he's handled himself great.
It's not going to be a 1-2-3 inning here. Gradford aboard. And now Austin Bush. It's one of those guys, you don't get up to get a hot dog when he comes to the plate. because the bruising first baseman can do this to you.
Yeah, that's out of every park in the game of baseball right there. This is just a big left-handed animal right here. And to top it all off, he is beyond hot. And what's amazing is the first at bat against McKay was really rough, and then right back with another home run.
6'6", 265 pounds, Austin Busch. And I know at home you're asking the same question we did. How much football did you play in high school? The answer, none.
It's amazing. I love the Oakleys, hitting with the Oakleys on, little Phil Nevin there. It's the old saying, there's a brick in the woodshed. He does not look like anything like the rest of the guys in this lineup, but boy, is he an important part.
He's pretty much out of central casting for a baseball movie that's just looking for a guy who looks like a slugger. He could go to the audition. He'll nail it within 10 seconds.
This is it. This is exactly how you draw it up. Just a big left-handed guy right in the middle of the order. And some of the at-bats you're going to see him miss some balls by 8 feet, and then you're going to see what we saw a few innings ago. Ball get out of here in a hurry.
And scorches that one into center field. Just punishing the baseball. Austin Busch.
Very interesting, Mike, because you look really bad on the breaking ball and then you look really good on it. You see there's just all that power right there. Usually you worry about some length in the swing and a slower swing, but that's real bat speed right there. And he can get to a ball down. You know, traditionally you'd want to tie him up, but I'll tell you what you want to do now is you want to just don't throw strikes. You got to take him out of the game. Austin Busch does not get to do any more damage.
We talked about the pitching coach for Louisville earlier. That is the highly respected Roger Williams, who coached at UNC for 11 seasons, short stint in Athens with the Georgia Bulldogs. And you and I had a chance to catch up with Roger Williams yesterday at practice. One of the best in the business. An outstanding teacher of pitchers, and you know, he's fit perfectly into Dan McDonald's plan. They've got a lot of kids from the north that are multi-sport athletes that are going to need refinement, and Roger Williams is exactly the guy to do that. And that's been a staple of this program over the last 10 years. These guys have pitched at a really high level. They keep churning out quality arm after quality arm. McKay's got himself in a little hot water here with 2 outs. Back-to-back singles by Bradford and Busch, and now Muno is 1 for 2. Tries to paint the outside corner but misses low. You mentioned it earlier, Mike. This is a really important inning for McKay because every time Santa Barbara's had a chance to score, they have scored. And he really needs to take an opportunity like this and turn it into a 0. Change the momentum of this game. One ball, 1 strike, the count. This is second baseman. This is unbelievable, Mike. I mean, this is Santa Barbara lost 10 guys to the draft last year. I mean, this is a brand new team, and they just roll into this Louisville Super Regional in an incredible atmosphere, and they're up 3-1 against a kid that I think McKay could be the first overall pick next year, maybe. Who knows? I mean, he's that talented. Swing and a miss. You and I have done enough regionals and super regionals, been to Omaha enough to see that when you see these West Coast teams come, don't let the numbers fool you, because they're not going to beat anybody on paper, but they will beat you on the field if you're not careful. Because they're built to beat aces, and they're built to win close games in tense environments. That's what this system is all about. Biggest pitch of the game at this point, Mike, for me. If you're Louisville, you have to have this 0. And if you're Santa Barbara, you got to keep going because you don't create that many scoring opportunities. Does not chase. Great discipline by J.J. Muno.
J.J. Muno, another one of those Santa Barbara players, doesn't look the part, but just gets it done. What a great take against a really good left-on-left breaking ball.
Muno waiting on a payoff pitch, and instead a bluff throw by McKay. Hot shot back up the middle, a base hit. Bradford gets the wave. He'll come home, and the Gauchos now lead it 4-1.
You know, the pitch is up, Mike. It's fastball up, and every time McKay is elevated today, he has gotten burned, and it hasn't been that often, but Santa Barbara has not missed one opportunity. For me, J.J. Muno, that take 2-2 of that breaking ball, which was an out pitch, set up that run right there. It's just every pitch Santa Barbara has been on it.
Just like Coach McDonald said, everything that's been high has been knocked around by this Gauchos lineup. 3 consecutive singles with 2 outs to plate another run. And now the catcher, Dempsey Grover.
It's getting a little dangerous for Louisville as far as you start to think, how deep into this game can Brendan McKay go? And Louisville's bullpen, Zach Birdie is a big league reliever at the end there, but that's the 8th and 9th inning.
Right.
They're not, this bullpen's not built for 5, 6, and 7.
1-0 pitch, sliced foul. This is where checkers becomes chess, because you don't treat this as you would a regular season game. Sometimes game 1 is so important. I mentioned the number earlier. The game 1 winner goes on to win a super 80% of the time. You'll see a coach take one of his swing guys, and he might start on a game 2 or game 3, and he'll take him out of the bullpen in a spot like this. There's a get-me-over strike.
Well, when you start thinking about this series, Santa Barbara does not have another starter the caliber of Shane Bieber, but they do have great reliever in Kyle Nelson. So it's about winning 2 games for Santa Barbara, managing that staff right there. But you're right, game 1 is so important, and right now the momentum is all Gauchos.
2-2. There's no question the bullpen's going to play a role in this game. That is Jack Sparger, a 6'5" junior, loosening up right now. This is about to be pitch number 83 for Brendan McKay.
Here's the other thing, Mike. This is your 4-hole hitter on the mound. I mean, you can't just exhaust him on the mound and don't worry about it. You need him this whole series.
Great point. Swing and a miss. Boy, did he need that one. His 7th punch out of the game, but some 2-out lightning provided by the Gauchos.
They just run good at bat after good at bat. J.J. Muno right there, single up the middle, incredible at bat. The Gauchos are on it, up 4-1.
Joined now by the head coach of the Gauchos, Andrew Checketts. Gauchos leading at 4-1. And coach, I want to talk about your approach, the mentality of your team. You guys seemed really loose yesterday in practice. You played that way all year long. Do you feel like it's paying dividends thus far?
Yeah, they've done a good job. They haven't flinched a whole lot with the crowd, and it's the first time we played in front of this kind of crowd all year. I think they've been pretty energized by it.
Andrew, this is my first time seeing Shane Bieber in person, and Grady Smith, the home plate umpire, has been very true to the plate. And this kid is amazing. This is surgical. Is this what you guys get every time out?
I'm a believer. You're a believer now, too.
Very well said. Andrew, we'll let you get back to it on that note. Thank you much.
Thanks, guys.
Andrew Checketts with a walk-off in the mid-game interview. Nice line.
Is that a mic drop right there?
That's a mic drop.
I like it.
Just get off the stage, 2-drink minimum, tip your waitress, go back to coaching the rest of the game, leading it 4-1. Andrew Checketts, who was an All-American pitcher at Oregon State after 1 year at Florida. And now in his 5th year with this Gauchos program, he has done a tremendous job. Drew Ellis, Logan Taylor, and then back to the top with Corey Ray. Ellis is 0 for 1. Ellis, a great athlete who was a tremendous basketball player in high school. He's always played the infield and probably will move there next year, but with a glut of talented outfielders. Excuse me, forced to play the outfield this year with a glut of talented infielders. He's playing left field today. Could very well be in the infield next year. And quickly ahead on the count. 3 balls, no strikes. Got to take here, right, Runes?
I mean, you do, although it's certain Bieber's throwing a strike.
And he does.
And that's the thing, Mike. This Louisville offense, they can get on you, and you don't even know what happened. I mean, this thing, when Louisville gets going, don't blink.
I'll steal a basketball term when it comes to the Louisville offense. They have spurtability.
That's right. Yes, that's well said right there.
3 runs can be made up in a hurry with this offense that can be very explosive. Here comes the payoff. In on the thumbs, a little pop-up. And Muno with the catch for out number 1 as we send it to Brendan Fitzgerald back in studio.
Thanks, Mike. Over in Miami, Boston College used a solo home run to get on the board. Then Miami made 2 errors, including this one by Willie Abreu in right. It scored 2 runs. The Eagles have a 4-2 lead in the 4th on ESPNU. Back to you.
Brendan, good stuff. BC trying to live another day out there in Coral Gables. Coming up, it'll be game 1, Oklahoma State, South Carolina. 2 teams that have met in Omaha before, Florida State and Florida. A rematch of last year's Super Regional in Gainesville. And Coastal Carolina, the Chanticleers, trying to make their first trip to the College World Series. They'll need to upend LSU at the box. Never an easy place to play. I know you think Coastal might have the magic there, Mike Rooney.
Well, sometimes it's where you get sent, and Coastal top 3 in the country in home runs. Alex Box Stadium, a great place for them. How about this, Mike? So Shane Bieber, who's been incredible, goes 3-ball count, and he gets a mound visit from pitching coach Matt Harvey. Just, it's like to scold him, hey, don't do that 3-ball thing again.
What, is something wrong? You went 3 balls on a count? Come on. Logan Taylor, 9-hole hitter, showing bunt.
You know, Andrew Checkett's, Mike, he's had great mentors, coached for Doug Smith at UCR, George Horton at Oregon. It's, you know, Gary Henderson, who just resigned from Kentucky, a big mentor for him as well. This is a young guy that's put the work in, paid his dues, has had great mentors. And I don't think it's any surprise to people that follow college baseball how quickly he's turned the Santa Barbara program into a real player on the national scene.
Off the plate outside. Well, he's got a gem in this young man, Shane Bieber, who is living proof that you don't have to light up the radar gun to be a great pitcher, even in this day and age where everybody's obsessed with 96-mile-an-hour fastballs. Look out, that was a line drive, and it might have hit somebody leaning over the Louisville dugout. Saw a body scurry at the last second. Hopefully they got out of the way. Everybody's smiling now, so that's good. Laced left side in the left field, base hit, a 1-out single for Taylor, and it's back to the top with Corey Ray. Tonight at 9 Eastern on ABC, it's the much anticipated O.J. Made in America, our critically acclaimed 5-part 30 for 30 documentary event. Not just the O.J. Simpson story, but a story about race, celebrity, violence, and the criminal justice system. O.J. Made in America premieres tonight at 9 Eastern on ABC. Corey Ray is 0 for 2 today. I love what Corey told us yesterday and just how teams pitch him. He said, you know, I went in a game in a regional last week where we counted 11 of the 18 pitches he saw were breaking balls. They refused to throw him a fastball near the heart of the plate.
Well, and I think this is a situation where Corey Ray needs to not overthink this. Shane Bieber likes his fastball. It's going to be well located. So if you're Corey Ray, I would cheat to one side of the plate or the other and sit there waiting for that fastball. It's interesting, Mike. Dempsey Grover is not a great thrower. He had a shoulder injury a couple years ago, still working back from that. Excellent player, obviously. But Shane Bieber is able to make up for that with it. Just incredible at how he holds down the running game.
Well, there is the fastball that we just alluded to, and that's 86 miles an hour. I don't know if Ray's going to get a better pitch to hit.
Yeah, and I think that's where he got caught guessing. And that's 1-0. He's anticipating breaking ball, and he got a fastball middle in. That's a home run pitch.
Certainly is. Ray doesn't pride himself in being a home run hitter, but he's got 15 of them this year.
That's like me saying I'm not a bald guy. That's I like the sentiment, but that's interesting.
Pitch the ball.
There's the bio on Corey Ray, 6 feet, 190. At the south side of Chicago, which turns out a lot of football and basketball players, but not a lot of baseball players. 15 homers, 60 ribbies, 44 steals on the year. It's been a stat sheet stuffer. That was a home run cut right there.
This kid, this is a special player. I mean, this, regardless of results, I mean, just it's electric, everything he does. The bat speed, the foot speed, and he's an incredible kid. You get to meet him in person. It's, you know, we're interviewing him, Mike, and I just wanted to keep my mouth shut and listen to him. It's just like, you talk about a guy that captures the room.
I thought I was an AD interviewing coaching candidates.
That's right.
I was ready to give him the head coaching job.
Beyond impressive.
Swing and a miss. He chased one out of the zone. Beautiful sequence there by Shane Bieber.
And Bieber will even do this occasionally, go above the strike zone. And it really felt like the 1-0 fastball that Corey Ray took and kind of outthunk himself was hard to get himself back into the at-bat right there. And I'll tell you, Shane Bieber, that is a steal in the 4th round. Good for you, Cleveland Indians.
Certainly looking like it so far today. Will Smith, the catcher, hitting in the 2-hole, 1 for 2. And that ball is wild. Grover can't handle it. And an easy advancement to second for Logan Taylor.
Yeah, that's just not getting down there. And you worry about Santa Barbara a little bit in the second half of the game. Now, they've got a great reliever in Kyle Nelson that's sitting there ready to go. And it's even better stuff than Bieber. But this is a lot, you know, even though they're up 4-1 in Louisville, Mike, Louisville just pressures you even when it's not going well. I mean, you just feel that getting through this lineup is grueling. And you wonder if that bill will come due in the second half of the game.
And it's a good spot in the lineup to do some damage here. Smith in the 2-hole, Solak and McKay waiting. Tough pitch to take. Smith, who we mentioned the story how he became a catcher. You see this pitch here.
Oh man, Mike, that is paint down at the bottom. Now, hey, Grady Smith deserves kudos. He's been outstanding today, but that is an unbelievable pitch.
Maybe a millimeter below the hollow of the knee, as defined by the strike zone. Smith is a great golfer. He's an 8 handicap.
It's the only thing I don't like about this kid. I mean, just at least tell me you're bad at something.
Right.
Be human. What a great story. This kid was a first-round pick in the fall, Mike. 21st round, maybe. And he has come on like gangbusters, and it's a premium defender in the middle of the field.
Nice at bat here for Will Smith to work the count. 3 balls and a strike.
This is big for Louisville because you're right in the middle of the order. You hate to see an inning end right in the big part of your order. Got to keep the train moving here.
Now, you know Bieber doesn't walk anybody. So if you're Will Smith, are you super aggressive here?
Oh, yeah, RBI situation. You're thinking right center, and let's get number 2 in there.
Strike called, letter high. Smith disagrees.
Yeah, interesting. Grady Smith has liked the ball up more than down today, but both pitchers have been really good at being down in the zone. Of course, McKay's had a couple mistakes up, but again, I think Grady Smith's been outstanding. He's been very consistent in a day where both pitchers have tested him.
Here's the payoff. It hit the base runner, so that's the out. Hey, you don't see that happen very often. It hit Logan Taylor, and that'll be the 3rd out of the inning. Perhaps a tough break for the Cardinals.
Louisville really struggled here. Can't create any momentum. Comes off the foot of Taylor right there. UCSB 4-1.
You don't see this play happen very often. The ball off the bat of Will Smith. Shortstop might have had this ball anyway, but it hits Logan Taylor on the back of his leg or back of his foot. Automatic out, runner's interference, so the side retired. Everything going the Gauchos' way here from about inning 3 on. The Gauchos have scored in 3 consecutive innings, and they will send the bottom third of the lineup here. Plantier, McAdoo, and Ryan Clark. Plantier 1 for 2, an RBI double his last time up.
You know, the concern on the runner's interference for me, Mike, is that it's Logan Taylor, who's such a great athlete. Maybe you're trying to do a little too much, trying to screen the goalie like in hockey, and that's just not what Louisville needs to do. They are so talented. They've been so proficient. Just do your thing and trust that's going to be enough. But I say that, and Plantier has had a rough year. He's hitting 190. He's got an RBI double in this game against Brendan McKay. I mean, any logic does not apply to this West Coast offense.
Kyle Plantier, the nephew of the former slugger of the San Diego Padres, Phil Plantier. Phil had that exaggerated crouch and uppercut swing. He would hit some bombs. 2-2 is tomahawked into right center field. Bad angle, and then a recovery by Taylor. He did not read that one well off the bat of Plantier. This week on ESPN Sunday Night Baseball, it's a first ever doubleheader from the seats with Dave Fleming, Dallas Braden, and Eduardo Perez broadcasting the Cards-Pirates game from atop the Clemente Wall at PNC Park starting at 5. And Dan Shulman, Booney, and Jess call the Dodgers-Giants game from above the right field wall at AT&T Park. Two of my favorite parks to take in a game. PNC Park in Pittsburgh. And if you haven't been to San Fran to see a baseball game, you're missing out. That might be at the top of my list. One out for McAdoo. Watch the route that Logan Taylor takes on this last fly ball.
And you know, it's nice when you're just an Olympic caliber athlete. I mean, that is, he couldn't have made a worse route, and he's still such a good athlete out there. Logan Taylor is an elite defender, and it's no problem. He can take the wrong route, still make the play.
That's what you call makeup speed, right?
That's right. Yeah, he is a flyer in center field.
On top of everything else that has gone right for the Gauchos here recently in this game, what they have managed to do is take out, for the most part, this rather exuberant Louisville crowd, which was on fire early in this game and had a real home field advantage to it. 2-2 fouled at the plate. But it's hard to go crazy when you're down 3 runs. It's nail-biting time.
Yeah, and it speaks to how opportunistic these guys have been, and it's amazing. You got a lineup here, 2 guys sitting under 200, and they're getting it done.
Strike 3 called. A knee buckler to McAdoo. It's the hat trick for Michael McAdoo.
And this is the pitch I'd like to see Brendan McKay go to more. That fastball in has been really a dominant pitch for him. It has set up some strikeouts. It has been his out pitch. And you'd really like to see him just attack Santa Barbara with that. Here's the problem, Mike. Now, that if you do that, hit by pitch is in play. And nobody's better at it than the Gauchos.
They're tremendous. 90 times they've been hit by a pitch this year. That's the 7th highest total in all of college baseball. Really, both these teams have been proficient in that area. Even with the updated NCAA rules this year, one of the points of emphasis was you cannot intentionally make an effort to get hit by a pitch. A lot of times in years past, guys will get kind of crafty, kind of bend into one, put out the elbow, and the home plate umpire would still award first. That has been scaled back this year. That is a laser beam, but foul. Tell you, when the Gauchos put it in play, they have been hitting it hard today.
Yeah, Ryan Clark has been to the pull side all over it. And remember, he's not your ordinary 9-hole hitter. He's had some injury issues during the year, and that's the one thing about Santa Barbara. Andrew Checkett said it. Every day we play, we get better because we get healthier.
Right.
A guy like Clark gets healthier. Justin Kelly, another guy. It's just, you know, this is a team that started the year really good. It's tough down the stretch because of some injuries, but they're healthy now.
Another rocket right in the same spot. And again, foul off the bat of Ryan Clark.
Santa Barbara's team, they force you to make decisions. Do you want to pitch in and risk us doing the hit by pitch? By the way, I hate that rule. I meant to say that earlier. Actually, kidding aside, I didn't like it when guys could lean in, Mike.
Right.
But I do like a hitter to be able to hold his ground.
Yeah.
It's really the safest thing for a hitter to hold his ground. We've made it really hard on the umpires.
Swing and a miss. Strike 3. 8 punch outs now for Brendan McKay. He's battling a 1-2-3 inning. We go to the home 6. The Cardinals trailing by 3.
Santa Barbara has been all over it today. So opportunistic. Austin Bush's power is played. Base hit after base hit. Every chance they've had to score, they have taken advantage of that and really taken it to a very good pitcher in Brendan McKay.
And 9 hits off McKay. You couldn't ask for more offense out of UC Santa Barbara. Typically, when these Big West teams are successful, they're winning games like 3-2 or 4-1 or even 1-0. So the offense has already done its part, and obviously the man on the mound has done his. Bieber has been precise. He has suffocated the strike zone. He has been dominating thus far. He's only allowed 1 run on 6 hits. The 1 run came back in the 2nd inning. That was the Taberry home run. Since then, he's been nearly flawless. And he goes strike 1 to Solak. Solak, McKay, and Hairston, 3-4-5 due up. Solak missed 17 games with a hand injury earlier in the year. He was bunting against the Virginia Cavaliers and suffered a bone bruise.
That's a concerning swing there, Mike. You don't see Solak chase out of the zone. It feels like Louisville starting to press a little bit. For Louisville right now, it's commitment to first base. It starts with base runners.
Kind of a funny story about Bieber. They were playing a series at Oregon this year. One of the Oregon players tweeted out, just simply didn't put the first name, Bieber is going to be at the ballpark tonight. So as you can imagine, a bunch of young girls showed up. Justin was not there. They had to settle for this young man, Bieber.
That's outstanding. Outstanding use of Twitter right there.
It's a heck of a practical joke. It's the same look of disappointment people have when they meet me and they realize I'm not the former major league pitcher. Had to live with that for much of my life. 2-2 pitch. Cut on and miss. Strike 3. 1 up, 1 down as we send it to Brendan Fitzgerald. An update on Miami Boston College.
Yeah, Mike, Miami at the plate in the top of the 5th. Johnny Ruiz had a grand slam and a solo home run last night. Here he goes to the right field corner. It's an RBI triple. It is now 4-3 BC. Mike, back to you.
Brendan, thank you. That would be one of the great stories this year if Boston College could make it to Omaha. Boston College and Louisville, 2 of the 10 teams from the ACC that tied an NCAA record to make it to the postseason. And I don't think anybody had Boston College on their radar to get to a super regional.
That Oxford regional was no joke either. Tulane and Utah, the Pac-12 champion, as your 4 seed.
Yeah.
That was Ole Miss had a tough draw for sure. BC, they've done a great job.
McKay, who doubles up as the starting pitcher and DH here today. He's 0 for 2. He's hit it in the air twice with no success. Strike 3 called. That one burning the inside corner.
Shane Bieber's really in the minds of the Louisville hitters right now. You see, McKay, you're not going to see that very often, that he takes a pitch like that.
Five strikeouts for Bieber. 2 gone for Hairston. Bieber's at 88 pitches now, but showing absolutely no signs of fatigue. His pinpoint control has stayed that way. His velocity is about the same. Again, not a flamethrower, but easily one of the best control pitchers in the country.
A real student too, Mike. He's capable of executing any pitch, and this coaching staff does such a great job. Fastball up has become a weapon. You think of Shane Bieber, you think of fastball down, but if fastball up is the pitch of the day, he's able to execute it.
Hammered left center field and past the diving Bradford into left center field. Hairston will pull up the brakes at second base, a 2-out double.
Bradford really athletic out there, dives, and with the lead you can take a chance like that. Hairston kind of hides in that 5-hole. This lineup just gets after a slider up in the zone, and you can see he can really move.
And now the man responsible for the lone run of the game for the Cardinals, Blake Taberry, who homered in the second. A homer here would make it a 1-run game. Well, the Gauchos have been great today with 2 outs. Time for the Cardinals to have a little 2-out magic.
Taberry needs to be a little careful here. 1-0. You get enamored with the home run. Try and make this 4-3. Stay within yourself right here. It's about putting base runners together here. Bieber's just too good to sit on a mistake and get a little greedy.
Line shot, center field, base hit. This will play to run. It's 4-2.
Mike, this is a really good at bat. Instead of getting pull happy, Taberry knows he's going to get fastball down and away. He stays on it, uses the middle of the field. What a mature approach in a big moment where you felt Louisville was starting to press a little bit. That is a big momentum changer. A 2-out RBI, and Louisville needed something positive here, and that could be it.
First run of the game for the Cardinals since the second inning. Now Danny Rosenbaum, a staple in the starting lineup for the Cardinals, making his 148th start. Had a tremendous regional and trying to pick up his first hit here in the Super.
Defense becomes so critical. Remember, Santa Barbara can really move in the outfield. Taberry not a great runner at first base, so a double with 2 outs does not necessarily score the run.
This is what Danny Rosenbaum did in the regionals.
Suburban Philly kid, Mike, so that means 2 things. Plus charisma and a whole lot of power right there. Rosenbaum, a senior, he's a little bit of a wild card in this lineup because when he gets hot, he's a game changer and getting hot at the right time of year.
A pair of 2-run homers blasted by Rosenbaum in that 15-3 triumph over Ohio State. Again, not your typical 7-hole hitter. The lineup depth for Louisville is amazing. I mean, we have a lot of teams this time of year that 1 through 5, there are no easy outs, and then the workload starts to lighten up if you're a pitcher. That's not the case for Shane Bieber. Every time he looks up there, there's a guy at the plate that can hurt you, and hurt you in a big way. And Rosenbaum will try to do just that here. He's the tying run.
To your point, Mike, there's not one spot in this lineup where there's not an extreme tool. You know, Tiberi and Rosenbaum, it's extreme power. Then Ellis is a future 3-hole hitter. You look at Logan Taylor, absolutely flies.
We haven't even mentioned the UC Santa Barbara bullpen, other than how good their closer is, Kyle Nelson. But in the case of Bieber, he goes deep into games. He averages 7.5 innings per start. He has 4 complete games on the year. So don't expect him to start showing signs of fatigue. If he gets beat here, it's because the Cardinals are that good. It's not because he all of a sudden got tired.
And Hairston and Tiberi's at-bats have been the solution. Now remember, for Santa Barbara and Andrew Checketts, Nelson is a 9-out closer. You could almost go to him now in a short series like this. But for sure, once Bieber gets into the 7th, Kyle Nelson is in play.
Deuce is wild for Danny Rosenbaum. Fastball paints the outside corner. My goodness, does this kid have pinpoint control. Cardinals get a run on the board. Back-to-back hits by Hairston and Tiberi.
Tiberi and Hairston pair up and get Louisville going a little bit. 4-2 ball game. Cardinals on the comeback trail.
Oh, seats are not easy to come by here at Jim Patterson Stadium, which seats just over 4,000. They're stacking them up wherever they can get in here. It's a fire marshal's nightmare. But so far, the crowd has been kept in check for the most part. The Gauchos have led this game from the 4th inning on. They have a 4-2 lead, still a tenuous one at that. Top of the order due up. Kalika, Fisher, and Gradford. Kalika rolls over on one and rolls it to Solak for the first out of the inning. UC Santa Barbara, it's been a long week and a half. They go from California to Nashville for the regional. That's 1,850 miles. They win it, and rather than fly back to California, they just stayed put. Extra day or two at the hotel in Nashville, then they make the journey from Nashville to Louisville. Another couple 100 miles. Hoping they've got some good laundry service, otherwise they'd have to do some shopping for clothes. But they've been away from home for well over a week, and unlike a lot of schools that are done on the academic side this semester, their finals week is going on as we speak. So they had to fly some extra people in to make sure that the tests that they took on the road were on the up and up. As you take a look at the first base coach, Chris Valleca, who actually played in this ballpark for the Louisville Bats. In the air to short center. And it'll be the shortstop Hairston calling for it.
Mike,
number 2.
Here's the best part. Chris Valleca right there. He's one of the students. He's a former major leaguer who's back to get his degree, which is that's what it's all about. And from a great family in Southern California. You remember his brother Pat was the shortstop on the UCLA 2013 national championship team. Younger brother Nick's at UCLA now. So this is, you know, obviously it's a cool thing for Andrew Checketts. You got a former major leaguer here coaching first base, and you know, he's going to get his degree. That's what it's about.
Great story, and really a great story. I don't think I've heard of a team staying away from home in that gap between regional play and super regional play. But the more I think about it, why not? Why go through the jet lag of going another 2,000 miles across country, then 2,000 miles back? Why not just stay around? That's what they've done. It's worked out well. You know, going back to Valleca, by the way, the Louisville Bats actually play in a different ballpark, a different minor league park nearby. This ballpark, Jim Patterson Stadium, has had major renovations done in the last few years and has turned into one of the better home field advantages in all of college baseball, and it belongs solely to the Cardinals. Tom Jurich, the AD, does an outstanding job you know, in order to keep Dan McDonnell around, you had to give him some elite facilities, and they have come through with that in a big way. High strike called, 1-1 to Devon Bradford.
It's really neat. I mean, obviously, we all know Tom Jurich is known as one of the best ADs in college sports, but he makes a great hire in Dan McDonnell, and the resources have kind of moved as Dan McDonnell has elevated the program.
McDonnell was an assistant of Mike Bianco's at Ole Miss before he got the job. Still speaks so highly of Mike Bianco and how he helped propel his career into getting this job. 2-1 in the air to center field and deep. Long run for Taylor, still racing to the fence, and he makes the catch pressed up against the wall. What a play by Logan Taylor.
Logan Taylor, one of the very best center fielders in college baseball. Louisville's looking for a momentum changer. Good at start on defense.
Welcome back to the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals, presented by Capital One. Alongside former college player and coach Mike Rooney, I'm Mike Morgan. Thank you so much for stopping by today. Jim Patterson Stadium at Ocean of Red, cheering on the #2 national seed Cardinals, who trail at 4-2. They have trailed since the middle of the 4th inning. And the man on the mound has been the biggest reason for that. Shane Bieber has been in control. He's flirting with 100 pitches. And he'll be facing 8, 9, and 1 in the lineup. Ellis, Taylor, and back to the top. And Corey Ray, who's been neutralized today, 0 for 3 for the first rounder selected by the Brewers.
It's, you know what's amazing about Shane Bieber? We talk about strike throwers, Mike. He throws balls on purpose too. I mean, it's like he just hits every spot, even if it's not for a strike.
Popped up. Muno waits for it to come down in the glove for out number 1. So many great arms in these super regionals. We are showcasing 2 of them today. Shane Bieber, the 4th round pick of the Cleveland Indians. Brendan McKay, the sophomore all ACC performer. Bieber's gotten the best of him thus far, but McKay has shown signs of brilliance with 9 strikeouts.
McKay has been outstanding. I mean, Bieber's been the story, but McKay really should be 3 runs. That 1 ball early in the game should have been caught, and then it's, you know, a 3-2 game. But these guys have not disappointed us all. They've been 2 outstanding performances on the mound.
This guy has not been disappointing either. Logan Taylor has a base knock and a tremendous catch in center field just moments ago. Swing and a miss. There's something about that last catch that I think is important to note for those viewing a game at Jim Patterson Stadium for the first time. This is an all-turf field. Every inch of it. Turf at home plate. Turf in the outfield, on the infield. The only thing that's dirt is the actual pitcher's mound. So you have really no warning track to give you a heads up when you're getting close to the wall, as Taylor did on that last play. He held up, according to first base umpire Danny Everett.
If Logan Taylor hit 050, you'd play him every day. He's that good of a center fielder, and he specializes in those balls at the wall. He has just done that over and over again.
Strike 3 called. Gets rung up. He thought it was off the plate. Not so. Says Brady Smith. Watch this catch, and again, he doesn't look down. He has no idea that he's on the warning track because it's just a different color of turf.
Well, it's a great point, Mike, and I'll tell you, there was only one thing that was clear to Logan Taylor there. At the end of the catch, this is going to hurt. I mean, me and a fence are going to get real intimate, and that's the only thing, and you still to have the courage to make that catch, that's big time.
Back to the top of the order, and Shane Bieber has gotten the best of Corey Ray thus far. Ray 0 for 3, a strikeout his last time up. Hit in the air left center field, but perfectly positioned was Gratford to make the catch. Bieber needed a 1-2-3 inning. That's exactly what he got. We head to the 8th. It's 4-2, Gauchos on top. Now time for the pick you up moment of the game, brought to you by Enterprise.
First pitch, Mike. Austin Bush just continues to be torrid in this tournament. And after McKay had really made him look bad in the first at bat, Austin Bush, Oakley's on. Here we go. Massive power. You got to be a real player to hit with your Oakleys on, Mike. I'm just saying, that's not for the faint of heart. You better bring it if you hit with your Oakleys on.
4 home runs already in this postseason. Hits this one a mile high, but it should be an out. Hairston will put it away for out number 1. For more coverage of the Division I baseball tournament and interactive brackets, go to ncaa.com. This is game 1 of this Super Regional, best 2 out of 3. And the Gauchos in search of their first trip to Omaha. The Cardinals trying to make it for the 4th time under head coach Dan McDonald in his 10th year with the Cardinals program. Now, they're trying to get a new bat here.
Hey, McKay's retired 8 in a row, Mike, and this is the West Coast guys. They don't miss a trick. And McKay's starting to roll, and J.J. Muno has got such great instincts, baseball IQ. You absolutely go put. He didn't put anything on his bat. Let's be honest. He just walked over there, pretend to put twine tar on it. I don't like it. I love it.
You know, they actually did get brand new bats right before that Nashville Regional. They were struggling. They were scuffling at the plate. And they got some new bats, and obviously they worked pretty well for him. Going 3-0 in that Nashville Regional. Incidentally, McKay, his 3rd consecutive postseason appearance with at least 9 strikeouts. So don't let the score fool you. He has still been awfully clutch here today, but on the wrong side of a 4-2 score as we speak. The batter went out of the box, and they're going to call him out. I believe he touches home plate here.
Or, Mike, he puts his foot behind home plate, and that's out of the batter's box right there. And you wonder if the Louisville coaching staff had indicated that before the series.
You know, it's funny you mentioned that, because Dan McDonald told us point blank, this is something that UC Santa Barbara has been known to do. They've got a couple of guys, in addition to getting hit by a lot of pitches, who will do just that. And of course, there is no chalk here. That's paint on the batter's box. You can't kind of cheat and, rub out the chalk with your feet. He's clearly out of the box. And I'll bet you Dan McDonald alerted home plate umpire Grady Smith of that before the game.
I'm going to say it again, Mike. Grady Smith, what an effort today.
Yep.
This has been a great game to umpire behind the dish, but a tough one. He has been tested. He has been outstanding.
Rocketed into the center, but right at Taylor. A quick 1-2-3 inning. A great spot in the order due up for the Cardinals. Smith, Solak, McKay. They trail it 4-2.
The NCAA Baseball Super Regionals is presented by the Quicksilver Card from Capital One. Earn unlimited 1.5% cash back every purchase every day.
That was the scene on Thursday. The Louisville Bicycle Tours and the Louisville Bicycle Club organizing the Greatest Ride, a community bike ride in honor of Muhammad Ali. The free ride began at the Muhammad Ali Center, taking cyclists to local Ali landmarks, including his childhood home You may recall a young Cassius Clay began his boxing training after meeting a police officer while trying to report that his brand new red and white Schwinn bike had been stolen. I hate when that happens, Mike. Shane Bieber, terrific today. 7 innings of work. He allowed just 9 base runners. He struck out 7. He worked 109 pitches in this 90-degree high humidity heat here in Louisville, and he's giving way to one of the top closers all year long in college baseball, Kyle Nelson, who works from the left side. 7 wins, 8 saves in 31 appearances, and the bullpen was lights out in that Nashville regional.
Well, and Kyle Nelson's a big part of the story. UCSB's not in this super regional, not for the season that he had. You can see the numbers are dominant. There's a lot of deception here. It's a very quick arm for a guy that's not all that big. The ball will really jump on the hitters. The out pitch is going to be a slider. He'll throw it away from lefties, down and into righties. And again, he has missed a lot of bats this year.
A 5'11" sophomore from San Francisco, going toe-to-toe with Will Smith here. The starting catcher for the Cardinals. 2-3-4 in the lineup due up for Louisville. Cardinals have been stuck on 8 hits in this game. 1 run in the second on a home run by Taberi, and then 1 run on an RBI single in the 6th inning by that same man, Taberi. Smith recently announced as a first-round draft pick. Well, there's something we didn't see a lot of with Shane Bieber.
Yeah.
3-ball count.
Well, Nelson, it's okay for him to be a little erratic. He's more, whereas Bieber, it's that surgical command. Nelson's more of a bat misser, and so he can be in bad counts. His stuff's good enough to work through that.
A leadoff walk. Tying run coming to the plate, and Nick Solak. This is game 1, best 2 out of 3 here in Louisville. The #2 national seed trying to fend off UC Santa Barbara later on today on ESPN2. The Gamecocks and the Cowboys, SEC Big 12 matchup from Columbia. And then the nightcap, we'll have Florida State for you. Gators and Seminoles will kick off their super regional. 2nd straight year they've met at McKeithen Stadium in Gainesville. Solak, the tying run. He has walked, he has singled, and he eyes one off the plate outside.
Game on the line right here, Mike. If Louisville wins this game, I would be floored if Nick Solak is not right in the middle of it. This kid, again, lightly recruited, but even as a freshman, I thought was the best hitter for Louisville in that 2014 Super Regional. He's just been a winning player, a championship player since the day he set foot on campus.
This is the meaty part of the lineup for Louisville. The best opportunity to have a big inning.
And Hairston and Taberi coming up, and they've been really good. There's bullpen action for Santa Barbara, but I'm telling you right now, Mike, this is Kyle Nelson's game to win or lose. You could see 60 pitches out of him. He's trained for that. This is it's, what do they call that? That's eyewash in the bullpen. That's get yourself on camera maybe. This is Kyle Nelson's game.
He's been your bread and butter all year long, and not unusual for him to record a 6-out save. He's got to get the first one here, though. He gets the first strike to Solak. Nelson went 4 innings against Washington and 2 more innings against Xavier. He did not allow an earned run at the Nashville Regional. Low and inside. The Gauchos bullpen in Nashville worked 13 2/3, allowed just 2 runs, and struck out 26 batters. And as you mentioned, Kyle Nelson has the best swing and miss stuff really on the staff. Chop to third. Only play will be to first, and it's gunned across by Clark for the first out of the inning.
I'll tell you, Mike, that's okay. It's Solak. It's so funny. Even his outs seem to find a way to work. And You got to just keep the line moving. If you're Louisville, get yourself to 4-3 in this inning. Remember, in the 9th, there'll be so much pressure on Santa Barbara to close this game out. The 9th inning's a different animal.
Brendan McKay's a different animal. A starting pitcher that cleans up in the lineup. And McKay's got some pop.
Oh, boy.
We got a little wind going on. 377 to right center field, 330 down the line. Got a chance to help his own cause in a big way right here. 1-0, and that was nasty.
You know, that wind is ominous because there's not a part of the park that McKay can't get out of. This kid's got great pop. But Kyle Nelson's slider, not only is it left on left, but it's a tough look. Hitters just, that's the scouting report, they just don't see the ball well out of his hands.
One pitch tailing away, and he pulled off it.
I think Brendan McKay he's going to have to deal with that pitch right there. He's going to see at least 2 to 3 more of those if he can extend the at bat.
Another breaking ball, and Grover, the catcher, he thought he had it. He thought that was going to ring him up, but a little bit high, says Grady Smith.
Great differential between Bieber, who always hits his spot, and Nelson sprays it around. That's a tough adjustment for hitters when you guy it's Payne versus a guy that's just spraying it all over.
Fouled away. 2 balls, 2 strikes to Brendan McKay, the sophomore out of the state of Pennsylvania.
Now it gets interesting. He fouls off the breaking ball. You still have a pitch to play with. I would throw that breaking ball off the plate away, but you can see McKay's a good player, and he's starting to get a little closer to that pitch.
Swing and a miss, strike 3. Came back with a fastball.
I mean, they just do not miss a trick in that Santa Barbara dugout. That's it. The slider that's up, the slider for a strike, then off the plate away. McKay takes it and then makes the adjustment right here. What does Nelson do? Fastball up right there. Man, yeah, that is calling pitches right there.
And it's a classic case. If you're obsessed with the radar gun, that was 85 miles an hour, and he blew it by him because he's so concerned about those sliders. A little bit high, got McKay to chase it. It's the kind of pitcher Kyle Nelson has been all year long. He's a diminutive lefty, hardly imposing on the mound, but his stuff is.
Tell you, Mike, Hairston's really important because to Berry, not a good matchup left on left. Nelson has really torched lefties.
It's a big spot here. Even if you just get 1 run, to make it a 1-run game, you just don't know how many more opportunities you're going to have. If you don't get one on the board here, you go into the bottom of the 9th. If you're Louisville, you're looking at what would be 6, 7, 8 due up. Challenged him, and a lazy fly. Got caught up in that gust of wind, but McAdoo finally tracks it down for the 3rd out of the inning. So Nelson gets the job done. We head to inning number 9. Gauchos 4, Cardinals 2. It has been a well-played game thus far here in Louisville. The Gauchos leading the number 2 national seed Louisville Cardinals by a score of 4-2. He is Mike Rooney. I am Mike Morgan. Again, we talked about it at the top, Runes. When you talk about these West Coast teams, and Louisville knows this oh too well last year, being knocked out by Fullerton, they do a lot of things so well. They're sneaky good beyond the numbers, and that's what the Gauchos have been today.
Well, you're right, and Santa Barbara's a vintage West Coast team. The elite defense, Bieber was outstanding on the mound, and the offense is opportunistic and versatile. They can beat you so many different ways. Santa Barbara has not disappointed. This has been the West Coast deal to a T.
Louisville is finally going to the bullpen, close the book on Brendan McKay, the pitcher. And instead, they will go to Jake Sparger, whose last outing was against the Clemson Tigers in the ACC tournament. That was on May the 27th. McKay did a lot of things well today. Did not walk a single batter. He struck out 9. The Gauchos have been opportunistic in this game, getting a run in 3 consecutive innings back in the 3rd, 4th, and 5th en route to this 2-run lead. Now you see the overall numbers on Sparger. And they just want to get 3 outs out of him here, save some of their top bullpen arms for later on in this super regional. Particularly if you fall down 0-1, if you're going to rally back and win 2 straight in a super, you better have some quality fresh arms left, and certainly Louisville has just that.
Most importantly, Mike, if you're Louisville, you save Zach Birdie right now, so you can get as many outs out of him and with a chance to win a game. You've got Funkhauser saved, Hensman saved, so you're right, this is really important for Sparger to do a good job here.
McAdoo skies one to right. Ray is there. 2 up, 2 down here in the road 9th. Looking ahead to the bottom of the 9th, if you're Louisville and you're trying to mount this comeback, you got a good guy to start off with in Taberry, who has homered and singled. He's driven in both runs. Then Rosenbaum, then Doc Ellis. 6, 7, 8 due up for Dan McDonnell and company.
Bottom line, you got to get that order flipped over. I mean, mathematically you do. It's just, and that's what you want. Get Corey Ray in play. Have him be a factor.
Ryan Clark, the 9-hole hitter, 1 for 3. The final hope for the Gauchos here in the top of the 9th inning. Strike 3 called. Great performance on the mound. The Cardinals now need it at the plate. They need at least 2 in the bottom of the 9th when we come back from Patterson Stadium.
Fitzgerald back in studio. Coming up next on ESPN2, Donnie Walton and the Oklahoma State Cowboys still yet to lose a game in the tournament. They'll take on South Carolina. That's next. Guys, back to you.
Brendan, thank you so much. The story here, the Gauchos leading the Cardinals 4-2 as we get ready for the bottom of the 9th inning, as we take a look at today's Capital One Cup impact performance. And no question, Shane Bieber, the man in control on the mound, control from start to finish.
Mike, the scouting report said that command was off the charts, but you have to see it in person. It was just in and out and up and down. The fastball up became a real weapon. The slider was a factor. Just painted down and away all day. Shane Bieber with the all-time great performance, and really fun to watch him operate on the mound.
Not a blistering fastball, but a good one. And he spotted it all day long. Louisville 0 for 10 this year when trailing after 8 innings. And Kyle Nelson has not blown a save since May the 15th against Cal State Fullerton. So that's a couple of disturbing trends if you're the Cardinals. But you got a good guy at the plate to start things off in Taberry, who's driven in both runs today.
You can see, Mike, the hard part for Louisville right now is Nelson's seeing guys for the first time, and he's a really different look, so different from Bieber. Hard to get to him first time through the order.
Off the end of the bat, little pop-up. Muno, 1 gone. Such a great 1-2 punch, as you alluded to, Runes, and that Bieber the righty, Nelson the lefty. Bieber, pinpoint control. Nelson a little bit all over the place, keeps you guessing. So a true contrast, which is what you love to see when you go from starter to closer.
Yeah, perfectly set up. This is a great 1-2 punch.
Rosenbaum, a sizzler, backhanded stop by Muno. High throw and the tag applied by the first baseman, Austin Bush.
Some serious contact right here, Mike, and that's not a cheap play by Austin Bush. He was in the foul line. There was really nothing he could do. And you could see now that's throw. It's Muno is a very good defender, but he floats that throw. These outs it gets very tense.
Cardinals down to their final out here in the 9th inning. First pitch up and away to Drew Ellis, who's 0 for 3. Nelson has been outstanding all season long for the Gauchos. And trying to record another 6-out save, another big difference between the college game and the pro game. Most closers at the collegiate level, it's not uncommon to see a closer go more than an inning. 1-1 popped up weakly between home and first. The catcher giving way to the first baseman, Bush, and the Gauchos take game 1 of this best-of-3 Super Regional. UC Santa Barbara 4, Louisville 2, your final score. Mike Rooney, some final thoughts.
You know what, UCSB, this is the 3rd place team in the Big West, Mike. They came in here. Shane Bieber set the tone. Austin Bush stays hot. If you're wondering how good the baseball is on the West Coast, this is Exhibit A. What a performance by the Gauchos.
Winner of the first game of a Super Regional goes on to win it 80% of the time. So the Gauchos right now in a good spot against a very good #2 nationally seeded Louisville squad. Again, the winner of this bracket will take on the winner of the Gamecocks, Oklahoma State Cowboys. They come up after us at 3 o'clock Eastern time. Coming up later on, we will speak to the hero of today's game, the starting pitcher for the Gauchos, Shane Bieber. But in the meantime, we send you back to the studio with Brendan Fitzgerald and Gabe Gross. Again, your final score, Gauchos win game 1, 4-2.
Mike, thank you very much. Connor Costello and Oklahoma State. They stay in South Carolina. Last weekend took out Clemson. Now they'll take their shot at the Gamecocks in Columbia. 25 minutes from now on ESPN2 is first pitch. Oklahoma State 2 wins from Omaha. The last time they were in the College World Series was 1999. Until first pitch of that one, you have us, Brendan Fitzgerald and former big leaguer, former Auburn Tiger, Gabe Gross. Louisville goes down. There have been 5 games completed. 4 national seeds have lost already this weekend. What did you think about the Gauchos' performance?
Well, I thought they played very fundamental baseball. They did everything that they needed to do to win the ball game. They had a great pitching performance. Shane Bieber in control from start to finish, hit his spots, mixed pitches, changed location, elevated the fastball when he needed to. Everything that a pitcher needs to do to have success. And then offensively, didn't bang down the walls, but they took advantage of the opportunities when the opportunities presented themselves against Brendan McKay.
What surprised you about Louisville, the #2 overall team, and in their opener in the Super Regional round, they lose?
Well, I don't know that too surprised would be my thoughts. I think they got outplayed, and they got up against a pitcher who pitched better than their star, Brendan McKay, who just had a little more accuracy on his fastball, his all-speed pitches as well. Austin Bush hit a huge bomb for UCSB, and Louisville just never got the big swing.
So now it's Santa Barbara that is 1 win away from a trip to Omaha and the College World Series. Let's get back out to Jim Patterson Stadium. Mike Morgan with more, guys.
Brendan, appreciate it very much. The Gauchos winning it 4-2. Yes, they got 9 hits in this ball game, but the story really was on the mound. Shane Bieber, the junior, 4th-round draft pick of the Cleveland Indians, was outstanding, and he's kind enough to join us today over by the Gauchos dugout. Shane, you knew coming in just how lethal this Louisville lineup could be. How did you neutralize it for the better part of the day?
Yeah, you know, I just try to be myself. I know they're a super talented ball club. We were prepared for them all week, and, you know, I was fortunate enough to be able to change speeds and let my offense, you know, pick me up early after I gave up that that blaster right, and you know, I let my defense make plays like I have all year.
Shane, I mean, you were surgical today, but I'm curious about your pitching plan. You threw more off speed first time through the order than we thought you would, and then you're kind of feeling out Grady Smith, the home plate umpire. Didn't give you a lot on either side, but then you started executing up. Tell us about how you were kind of making adjustments throughout the game.
Yeah, when it comes to this point in the season, that's super important postseason play. Sometimes you got to change your game up a little bit. I pitched contact, and I know how these hitters are, and you know, they all got great swings, and they got good bat paths and can hit off speed even when they're expecting fastballs. So I just tried to change the speeds as much as I could, and you know, trusted Dempsey. I gotta, you know, commend him. He did a great job behind the plate, and you know, just trusted him, tried to throw to the glove, and challenged him. Really, we don't have much to lose here, so we're just going for it. And we got a super young, excited bunch, and it was a lot of fun today.
Not much to lose, but plenty to gain, including history for the Gauchos' first ever World Series appearance if you can get another win. What about the offense, though? We think of you guys, the West Coast teams, as pitching-minded and defensive-minded, but the offense came through in the clutch today.
Absolutely. You know, we've been, you ask anybody, we'll tell you we've been struggling the last few weeks of the regular season, so it's real nice to get the bats going right now. And Austin Bush, I think that's his 4th home run in 4 games. So, you know, we look to him to provide that power, and the rest of the guys know their job, and they're going to put the ball in play, and we're going to strike out as little as possible and put the pressure on the other team.
Well, Shane, we appreciate the time. An outstanding performance. You guys are 1 win away. I know you won't take it for granted, that's for sure, but go enjoy this one with your teammates.
Appreciate it. Thank you, guys.
You got it. Shane Bieber, fine junior performer this season. 4th-round draft pick of the Cleveland Indians. Don't forget tonight after the NCAA Baseball Super Regionals in College Station. Don't miss Sports Center at night. They'll have all the highlights from the Belmont plus Euro 2016, Major League Baseball, and the rest of the day in sports at Sports Center at night. Tonight on ESPN. So an updated look at the bracket. It's the Gauchos up 1-0. We've had several upsets already with road teams going to hostile environments and picking up huge wins. That's the case again today. Tomorrow, we'll be back with Game 2. The Cardinals will have their backs against the wall to stay alive. Coming up next on ESPN2, South Carolina against Oklahoma State. SEC Big 12 matchup. For now, let's send it back to studio with Brendan Fitzgerald and Gabe Gross. So long, everybody, for now.
Mike, well done. We'll see you tomorrow for Game 2 of that series. If you're just joining us, this is how it went down. UC Santa Barbara and Louisville, Game 1. Blake Taberry gets the scoring started for Louisville, Gabe, with the solo shot to right.
Well, this was the script. This is what you thought was going to happen. Louisville, one of the most talented teams, maybe only second to Florida in the country. They jumped out early.
Top of the 3rd, though, Santa Barbara comes right back. Runner on second for Clay Fisher, who had a big regional in Nashville, and he bloops one that lands fair down the right field line. Ryan Clark scores. Game's tied at 1 after 3. In the 4th, Austin Bush, the big guy, the lefty. He leaves the yard for the 4th straight game with a home run.
Yeah, Austin Bush is UCSB's guy. He's a clutch hitter. He's their biggest power threat and just a massive young man who really knows how to hit.
2 batters later in the 4th, Kyle Plantier doubling down the left field line. J.J. Munoz comes around to score. It's 3-1 Gauchos.
The story of this game for me was the ability for the Gauchos to get clutch hits when they needed them, and then Shane Bieber on the mound.
They add another run. 4-2 was the final. You just saw it here on ESPN2. Game 2 is tomorrow at Jim Patterson Stadium in Louisville, looking to avoid getting knocked out by a Big West team. Last year, the Cardinals were favored against Cal State Fullerton, and it was the Titans that got the trip to Omaha with the win over the Cardinals. Now it's UC Santa Barbara, just 1 win away from a trip to Omaha. South Carolina, Oklahoma State coming up on ESPN2. We'll wait for this one. Cowboys and Gamecocks in less than 20 minutes from Founders Park. You'll see it here on ESPN2. Stay with us.